My name is Mohammed Ali. I'm TwoCircle.net's daily correspondent, and today we are talking to Dr. Taj Farooqi, who is one of the who is associated with this whole idea of enemy property rights bill. He has got many properties. His relatives have got many property in Laharpur, which is a place in Sitapur district in UP. Sir, would you please tell us what's the problem with enemy property rights bill?
Actually, this enemy property ordinance or act,
sir, just sorry to interrupt you. Would you please introduce yourself, how you are connected with this whole idea?
This is what I want to say.
Yeah.
Actually, should I tell my name?
Yeah. No. I've introduced you.
Actually, I'm affected. My case is slightly different to what Raja Mahmudabad's case is, because there he had to prove himself to be an Indian, you see.
Okay.
And his father had migrated. My father was always in India.
Okay.
He was born in Indian, he lived in Indian, and he died in Indian.
Okay.
But my uncle did not leave India at the time of partition. He left India much after that, and when there was this 1965 Indo-Pak war, then the government came with this act that all properties owned by those people who are now Pakistani citizens, their relatives in India must declare their shares.
So
those shares will be known as enemy property.
Okay. So what's the problem with this bill in the current form, which is it's going under the in Parliament? What's the problem, and how practically you are getting affected by this bill?
You see, when the Supreme Court verdict came in favor of Raja Mahmudabad, at that time we had hopes that those others whose the relatives have gone to Pakistan.
Yeah.
They are not living, they are dead also, they have passed away. So then we Indians should get rights of those shares. We had hopes from this judgment. I have not gone through the details of the judgment. But with this bill, that little hope has also gone from us. So what I want to say is that the properties of those of our relatives who are in Pakistan, who are not no longer alive in Pakistan, their shares, we as Indians must get the rights of those shares again. Because if your relative in India dies and he has no other
heir,
then naturally whatever heirs are left behind, nephews or nieces, they get the rights of those properties. They become the owners of those properties because we are Indian, and that property should again become an Indian property.
Okay.
Why should it be named as an enemy property?
So you are saying your uncle, okay, that's fine. You're saying that your uncle left to Pakistan, and what was his name, sir?
Dr. Mateen Farooqi.
Okay, and he must be having lots of property. He was a zamindar.
We owned some property here.
Okay. So where does your case stand now? Like, what are the problems that you are? What was it that the government told you when you had what's the legal situation? Are you filing a case or?
No. I'm not involved in any way, because you see, getting involved would mean a lot of running about, a lot of expenditures, and the legal process in India, with all due respects, it takes ages and ages and ages. I'm also in my 60s now, so my family doesn't want me to get involved at that level. I have been to the office in Bombay, the enemy property office, and they have not paid any heed to my pleas and my applications that those properties should come to me now, because my uncle, I am the heir to my uncle. And you see, one more thing I have objections to is that why are the properties named as enemy property? They are Indian properties. Why are we declaring part of Indian soil, part of Indian house, to be enemy property? Why are we declaring ourselves, our government, that say a small field with mango groves and orchards or whatever, is being declared as enemy, that means we have conceded that this property belongs to Pakistan. What else? I mean, how else would you infer? So, my objection, first objection is that. So, if it is an Indian property, then inheritance law, whatever has been laid down by the Indian Constitution, must be followed, and we should be the beneficiaries of that.
So, what's the intention of the government behind bringing this bill forward? What do you think? What's your view?
As Mr. Adib Sahab has just said, I mean, the entire government, I don't know to what extent it is involved, but as the Home Minister has again brought that ordinance, I don't see that he has much, sympathy towards the minorities of this country, because the minorities living particularly in UP and those districts from where, I mean, we belong to, as he has said, rightly said, that each and every family was divided. I mean, my mother's sisters and my father's brothers, they left for Pakistan. They chose that country. Oh, well and good. I mean, it was not illegal at that time.
So you think that this bill can have disastrous implications on the very idea of family, the very idea of communal harmony in this country in the long run?
No, I don't think anything to be involved with communal harmony. I mean, our Hindu
but Muslims
are equally sympathetic towards our problems. They are not going to benefit in any way by us, the government taking away that property. I mean, the government itself is confused. It is not saying this is our property now. We would be even happy, at least I personally, this is my personal view, if the government says, all right, from today onward, this property becomes government property, Indian government property. They are saying it is Pakistani property. How can an Indian field in the heart of UP become Pakistani property? I mean, this is something that the Home Minister should explain to us. What inference can you draw? Enemy property. Enemy here is Pakistan. Now that property becomes Pakistani property.
So the problem is with the
it should go into their those naqshas and those maps and those khataunis of Pakistan revenue.
Taj Sahab, you were saying that the problem is with the very idea of bill itself.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot for talking to us.